Hello world, I'm LJ and this is LJ Goes Sweden. It's Tesla time after a long hiatus from me regarding my car. I have some news for you. I had a service appointment, the second one of this car, but the first real one. First time I had a service appointment, I had the issue that during winter the upper part of the Tesla logo came off and there was just the glue remaining. At one point after winter was over, I just said, okay, fix this. So I got a new thing. I think they really just put the whole thing on here. This was like last year during April, I think, if I remember correctly. That was also when I did the test drive of the Model Y Universe back then. And now I have a few things. So the reason why I actually had to go take a service, and I would love to show you, but it is also not happening right now, is that either the front wheel here or the back wheel are creating scraping noises. So basically, when you're driving at low speed and you have like very strong steering angles because you want to park or you want to take like tight curves, then you always hear certain like scraping. And in the beginning I thought like, okay, maybe it's during winter, you have some mud, you have some snow and ice building up, that the tires scrape off. But then I swapped tires to summer tires and that sound was still occasionally there. And I was like, okay, but if it's like just mud, shouldn't it be like scraped off at a certain moment? So I added this as a service appointment thing. One other thing that I had, which then really gave me the reason to make a service appointment, because I could have made that service appointment with the tires already like in February or March, but I kind of like, you know, ignored it and so whatsoever. But then something happened in the beginning of June where I said like, okay, I think I need to get this checked out. And that was inside the car, actually. So I was just like on a normal drive, I was running errands and I was parking my car to get a package. So I parked the car, went inside, went back to the car, 2 minutes maybe time has passed. And then when I went inside the car, out of nowhere, I had an error. But it was basically just telling me that all cameras crashed. So there was no way that the camera feed could be read out. So when I went to the camera menu, it was all just black. Nothing could be shown. I went to the service menu, same thing right there. There was like a big error message. And so I drove back home, which was fine. However, I noticed like it gave me all the errors. So no speed reading possible, no distance estimations. It's because nothing worked. Basically the car was blind during this drive. And I don't know what happened, but when I went back home, I parked the car. I was letting it sit there for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. Then I went back to the car and the cameras were back up. However, that error message that you can see in the service menu was still there. It was not like in the normal user interface there, everything was fine, but in the service menu it was still there. And when you then went into the app, into the service menu, it actually also told you, hey, you have an error, you should check that out. So you could just click on error. You didn't even have to write a text. It was just basically Tesla getting this error submitted. And that is the story how I decided to take a service appointment. It was something weird. It got reset basically, but the error did not disappear. So I just said like, okay, I have this, then I have the scraping noise. Let's just book a meeting. Maybe also one interesting thing to tell you in the beginning, so that you get a feeling. I have a mileage of 32,500 kilometers, which converts to, I don't know, like round about like 20,000 miles or something. I bought the car in June 2024, so this is now 2 years that I have the car. Just that you know, like, that you can maybe relate with the issues and certain things based on this data. With those two things, then I also said, okay, there are a few more things that bother me. Both of them related to squeaking noises. One, which I can of course now not really show you anymore because it was fixed, was a squeaking here on the armrest. So maybe you can still hear it. I'm gonna lay down the microphone here, then you can hear it really good. It definitely has been improved. It was way worse before. But basically when I had just my arm on here with not even a lot of weight. So I included the armrest as one of the squeaking things. And then I had other squeaking noises which were coming basically from the driver's seat and the front passenger seat. And these things were not fixed because Tesla decided to charge me for these. So I remove these things, but I will show you what it is. First thing we have on the driver's side is basically that both sides are scraping against something. So we have the seat belt holding thingy, whatever you call this, that is like scraping against the seat, which is really, really annoying sometimes when you're like getting in and out of the car. However, what is way worse is actually the side where you're sitting on when you're getting in or out of the car, and that is the other side. So also hard to maybe now guess if you can see, but it's somewhere here. So I hope you could hear this. These were like things that bothered me. On the passenger side, it is kind of similar, but not as extreme as it is on the driver's side. So I didn't really do something there. Then there was something else I actually added in this driver's seat thing, which however I later said like, okay, I haven't experienced this in a long time. So I removed it myself, which was a thing that basically when I was like slowing down after driving a bit faster, I felt something in the back of the seat, like it is like snapping over something else. So I couldn't really hear it, but I could feel it in the back that there was something like always like adjusting or like moving in and out of a certain position. Like you could feel like a click, but you couldn't hear it. So I also added this in that squeaking part. And yeah, then I submitted. So I received the invoice from Tesla, and most of the things can be fixed under warranty. For the camera feed issue that I encountered, they said they are planning to replace the hardware 4 computers, or the brain basically of my car, which I was like already surprised because I thought like, okay, they might gonna check it, see if the connectors are fine, but I was not thinking they're gonna replace it. Also interesting to see how much this thing actually costs, which was, what was it, like $2,000 something. Of course, the scraping, they also said, of course, they're gonna check it out. So that was also free. And the armrest, they decided to change under goodwill. That's how they wrote it at least, so not really under warranty. However, regarding the chairs, they said like, nope, we're not gonna fix this. We're gonna charge you an hourly rate. And in the end, it was like 2,000 SEK, so around about like $200 or even more to fix the squeaking of my chairs. And when I saw this, I was like, $200 for a change for fixing squeaking. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna pay $200 just for this. Now, of course, there was also that issue with the back of the seat with that clicking thing. But because I was not even able to reproduce this myself in the last, like months, I said like, okay, no. So I used that messaging feature in the service menu, and I texted them and asked like, hey, what is it like about with the fee? And they basically told me maybe something that is good to know for you as well. I don't know if it is like depending on the country you're in, but at least for the service center in Umeå where I was, they said they only fix those squeaking things under warranty during the first 6 months you own the car. Did I have that squeaking already in the beginning? It's hard to tell. I know that I had it for at least a year already, but I don't know if I had it already like in the first 6 months of owning the car, at least like to this extent that I have it now. So I decided against it, and still right now like I kind of ignored it. But once I really have time, I think I'm just gonna see what can you do. I think there will be an easy fix, at least for the seatbelt one, for the one with the on the other side with the plastic. Yeah, I have to see, but I think this will be doable. Yeah, so I removed this from the invoice so that I have 0 basically. And then I made my appointment. Of course, the appointments always are a few weeks in advance. It is not like really possible to have a service appointment with Tesla and then say like, okay, I'm coming in 2 days, at least in Umeå. And I got this appointment, I think like 2 weeks later. I was hoping to do this before I go to Germany for like a little vacation, seeing family. So that I have, because I was planning to drive to Arlanda, 6 hours drive. But yeah, it was not possible, so I did it later on, combined it with something else in Umeå. I had my appointment at 10:30 a.m. And the day before the appointment, I actually got a call from Tesla, but I missed the call because I was still at work during a meeting, and I just missed it. And I actually didn't even think it was Tesla. I didn't call back or anything. So later during the day, I got a message from Tesla in the service menu, and saying like, hey, we just called you, we wanted to check in with you if you have any questions or whatsoever. Which is, in my opinion, really, really good. So actually like being proactive, asking, hey, do you have any questions and this or that? And I actually had at least a little like, not question, but like just a checking, because a few days before the actual appointment, I decided to include something else that I needed to get fixed. And that one was something I realized while I was going south to Arlanda during a little charging road trip. I can actually show you because it has been fixed. And that is the problem, that I could not open my charging port with pure pressure. I had problems with the charging port before, where I noticed I was like in the car doing like ice bathing and just randomly the charging port opened, where I thought like, okay, that is kind of weird. So I never really bothered with it, because when I went to my local charger, I just pushed the button on the cable and it opens, so no problem with that. But when you're road tripping, sometimes you have the issue that on a charging cable the button doesn't work. And then I push on here. Let's see if it works now. It works. And it still feels like magic for me that it works, because it was not working at all. So every time I had this issue, I either had to get my phone, which was in the car, or just go inside the car and open the charging port. Yeah, so this was an issue. I went into service menu and I actually saw something which then made me decide to do a fix for this as well. Service menu told me that there's an issue with a hall sensor in the charging port area which could cause issues. And therefore I had my clue and I said like, okay, I went into my already booked appointment and I added another issue. And I didn't even know that this works. And I have to say I'm very, very happy that it worked. And I didn't have to confirm any more invoice or something, which was maybe a scary thing, because maybe they would have just said like, okay, yeah, we do this, but then we charge you, I don't know how many thousand SEK or hundreds of dollars, whatever. And I never got like any response or feedback from them regarding this. And then on the day before, like I just said, the guy that texted me asking me, do I have any like questions? And then I said like, hey, no, just checking in if you saw that I included this and that. And yeah, so the day after, the day of the actual service appointment, now in the morning, a guy texted me in the service menu and said like, hey, yeah, no problem with the charging port. We have one in-house. We can fix it easily. That's not going to be a problem. And then, however, he also told me, if possible, maybe you can come a bit earlier, because the change of the brain of the hardware 4 computer is going to take time. I basically went as early as I could, which was, I think, like close to 10. I parked the car there. I went inside the service center. I'm sorry that I didn't film anything. I was actually even sick on that day, so it was not the best experience for myself going through this day. I still want to talk to you because I want to share this experience and maybe help other people just to feel how a service appointment is and how it might be at your place, because I am very, very happy with the service people in-house. So I went, parked the car, like I said, I went inside and the guy already said like, oh yeah, you're probably this and this person, how are you doing? And we had a little chat and he went through like the issues and said like, okay, can you maybe like give me a bit more details? Tell me what is this, what is that? So he actually went outside with me. I showed him the squeaking of the armrest and he said like, okay, we can figure something out for this should be fine. And I told him about the scraping noise that I was not able to reproduce. So I already told him like, maybe you don't even have to do a test drive because I couldn't even do it myself this morning. So the original time that I was told that the car will be ready, like already days before, was I think 4:30, 4:45 p.m. So 6 to 6.5 hours for fixing the charging port, for fixing the squeaking of the armrest, for checking the scraping noise, and for swapping the hardware 4 computer. And in the end, I can tell you it was a bit longer, but luckily it worked during the day because he told me like, yeah, okay, we really hope we can fix it in one day. If not, yeah, we have to see. And I was actually getting a bit scared because of course, like I live not in Umeå and I don't want to, I don't know, take a taxi, take a train and all that hassle. Yeah, in the end, I can just say it worked out. It was a bit later. When I dropped off the car, they offered me to work there. You can have a snack, have a drink, a coffee, whatsoever. But I said like, nah, I will roam the area. I have my laptop with me. So I just went through the area. I had a few things that I wanted to check out. I could work a bit. So that was really, really nice. The time was actually going by faster than expected. So it was not really feeling like too much of a waiting thing. Besides the fact that I was, like I said, kind of sick and I was a bit like, I still have to drive all the way back after this and it's getting later. And I was a bit like, that was the annoying thing. But it is what it is. During the day, I got a little update that I saw that they have adjusted the time to, I think it was like 5 p.m. During the whole day, of course, I was always checking the phone. And it was interesting to see because the first thing they really did was changing the computer, which was interesting because I told them maybe you don't even have to change it because the issue is gone. I couldn't see the error anymore. But yeah, they swapped the computer and I could see that at a certain point of time, my car, which is silver here in the settings, it has turned back to the generic white. And I was like, ooh, okay, so they really like do something that changes your settings. And that white was there for a long time before it later went back to the silver. So what I guess is they did a backup of my car, then maybe hard reset it, and then they swapped the computer. And then later they loaded the backup back on. And the thing that was interesting, that was like what the guy also told me when I dropped off the car is the thing that takes the longest with the replacement of the hardware is not the replacement itself, but the waiting to get the car back on like the latest software track. And this can be like one update, he said, or it could be like 3, 4, and always like the downloading, updating. You know how it is. This takes like sometimes 30 minutes to like 1 hour, 2 hours. So I actually also got downgraded because I was already like on the latest software update, like 20.3 or something. But now I am back on 2026.14.6. I haven't checked in the service mode. Maybe you can see that actually like a component has changed or something. But yeah, so that got changed. Then the charge port got changed. You saw that it is working now. And the squeaking got fixed, like I said. So the only thing that was one of the big things why I actually went there that was not able to be reproduced is the tire scraping noise or whatsoever. But I talked to the guy and we said like next time I'm in Umeå and I hear that noise, I will just go straight to the service center if it is open, so that they can at least like already document this, even if we don't have the appointment at this time. So that is the thing. That is my service experience in Umeå, Sweden. And if I now check through here, through the alerts, oh, interesting. That's when they probably swapped it. Like 25th of June. And you can see, and then here, I don't go to steering, incorrect EPS state, voltage mismatch, and then it went to yellow. And then your autopilot limited because you had to do the cameras again, exactly. And the other thing which I want to show you, where I found the charge port because it was not shown here as an error, is actually here in vehicle functions. So when you go here, vehicle functions, it was shown under the charging as an issue. But yeah, so now I have nothing there, which is really, really nice. Yeah, and guys, there you have it. That is my experience with the Tesla service center for the second time. Unfortunate that we could not figure out what that scraping noise is, because that is of course something, you know, it could go bad the more you go with it. But yeah, if you cannot reproduce it, what to do, right? But there you have it. I'm still very, very happy with my car after 2 years now. There's one thing I'm really, really looking forward to, and that is full self-driving. Come on, Sweden. Loudest feature, please. I need it. Feel free to hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more Tesla content in the future. I am really, really looking forward for full self-driving because there will be content coming if that is reality. And else, if you are new in the Tesla space, if you're thinking about getting a Tesla or you just want to get a new one, feel free to use my referral link to get yourself a little discount or 3 months of full self-driving. I don't know what is the current state in your country. And with that said, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm going to see you back in the next video. But until then, have a good one.